Hi, Noah. How's it going?
Good. I'm doing well. I love that in the podcast, we just have to turn it on and instantly pretend like we're so happy. We were arguing 5 minutes before the episode started because we're both so overwhelmed by the day.
April's a doozy for us. April's a real, I don't know what is up with April, but I have 1 trillion things I need to do and responsibilities and flights, and you as well.
Yeah, well, you just got back from 5 days in Florida, right? So you were traveling for 5 days. I was solo parenting for 5 days, and then I'm getting ready to hit the road tomorrow to shoot my special. So tensions are high. Neither of us are doing anything wrong. We're just a bit overwhelmed at the moment.
I am happy when you make a plan in your head for your schedule. Like you're going to fly in, then get that car, then drive this way, then that way, and then stay there, and then blah, blah, blah. And sometimes that plan goes awry, and sometimes it's executed flawlessly. I will give myself a hand. I kind of executed a very challenging thing pretty well. We got to the Wynn to do a show on Wednesday, and then right after the Wynn, changed into sweatpants and boarded on a Frontier flight to Tampa, Florida, a red eye.
Yes, your Florida trip began with catching a red eye directly after a big show in Vegas.
Yes.
And then flew through the night, landed at what? 6, 7 a.m. and had to drive to Gainesville for your first show?
Yes, that is. But I also made it sure. I was like, I gotta sleep in my parents' house in my childhood bedroom, just sleep until Gainesville. And then when I drove to Gainesville, I couldn't believe how much traffic. And everyone's like, Tampa's gotten so crazy traffic.
Well,
I met the openers in Gainesville.
Hold on. I do want to talk all about Florida, but I don't want to just dive.
We don't want to dive into Florida.
Yeah. So before we get into Florida, because I do want to hear all about your Florida trip, I want to say something. We recently, as a household, switched from Keurig and the Starbucks K-Cups because of microplastics.
Yes, microplastics mess up hormones.
A French press. And I am so ready to go back to all the microplastics in my body. This new form of coffee that you have forced upon me is not doing the trick. I have no gauge of how many scoops of coffee that go into this French press are supposed to create the right amount of caffeine. The French press says it makes 3 cups. I seem to be getting 1.5 cups a day, but because according to the caffeine input of the French press, it's supposed to be 3 cups worth, so now I'm not drinking more, and I feel like I'm in a constant state of fatigue and moodiness because we switched over coffees, and I'm not getting the coffee intake that I'm used to.
I don't think it's about coffee. I think it's that the plastic particles is what makes you caffeinated. I think that what you need is poison.
Me the microplastics. I am so unhappy with our new coffee situation. Just putting that out there.
If you're going to drink microplastics 8 times a day, which we've been doing, that's what our bodies knows. That's home for us. Then with a Starbucks Keurig little thing, and I've tried reusable Starbucks Keurig that were metal, and you were like, no, it's not good. It could also be that we need to switch up the coffee itself.
Maybe the coffee brand is just not doing it. I do think you ordered it off of Amazon. Does that sound right? So,
and also you're saying you came to me and was like, I'm ready to not have microplastics pumping into my bloodstream. The minute you wake up.
100% true. I came to you and said, I'm ready to make the change. You forced me to care about microplastics.
Okay. Here's what I'll say. Here's why I'm okay with you gulping microplastics into your bloodstream first thing in the morning. A sauna is supposed to sweat out the toxins of the world that we just can't avoid, the amount of Roundup and toxins and pesticides that are just in our bloodstream. Use sauna. So I would say add 2 minutes to your sauna per Keurig cup.
I can get my coffee back?
Yes.
All right. Done.
By the way, this is backed up by precisely 0 science.
Doesn't matter. I don't need science when I'm hearing what I want to hear.
Or we could just the healthiest thing in the world is to totally get off coffee.
That's not even an option.
I don't think it's an option, but hear me out. There are people who, once you get over coffee and truly like months into being done with coffee, they say you have more energy than ever before.
I'm so happy for all those people. They also...
And you're not willing to just give matcha a try?
No. Not
even a try?
No, you've given me matcha before. Listen, I want the coffee that I want. I want the coffee that works for me. I'm done experimenting with my morning caffeine. It throws off my entire day. Give me the Starbucks, Keurig, K-Cup, plastics. Give it all to me. Give me lots of it, and we'll all be better off for it.
I'm not going to argue with you. What if we added a Mr. Coffee old school boomer cup pot of coffee? Would that even ever scratch the itch?
I would be willing to try making a giant pot of coffee in the morning, like 1980s office style. Just put on a pot of coffee. That I would be willing to try before going all the way back to Keurig. But what I am telling you is this dainty little French press with
stainless steel, no microplastics.
In the words of Randy Jackson, it's a no for me, dog. What would you like to discuss about Florida?
I'm going to be very honest. I have trouble with my hometown. I have trouble selling tickets in Florida, even though I rep Florida so hard. Even though I'm so proud, like I could, if I wanted to, I could get to tears talking about my struggle with trying to get my hometown to like me back. It's unrequited love. And
I don't know that you rep Florida so hard with love, though. To be fair,
I shit all over the trashy.
Yeah, from the first time we met, you made it clear that you hate Tampa, wanted to get out of Tampa. So it's not like you're lovingly always, which should have nothing to do with whether or not the hometown you came from with respect to comedy supports you. I'm just saying it's not like you're out there repping for Tampa all day long, talking about how much you love it, and then they just don't love you back.
I don't know who came first, the chicken or the egg, but I am at war with my hometown, which is depressing because people from Seattle are like, I love Seattle.
Well, you were born in Tampa. What can I say?
And some people like Tampa.
So you can talk about the troubles you had with Tampa show, but first and foremost, you took the red eye to get to Gainesville and had a surprisingly good show in Gainesville, right?
Shockingly, Gainesville has two cultures.
That was a show you were about to cancel.
Yes. I was like, maybe I'll just cancel. I don't know what I'm talking about. It was supposed to take 2 hours to get there. It took like 3. It was swampy Everglades. There was like boat tours, baby gators, all the gators and so, we're headed to the right direction. I get into swampy Gainesville and I'm like, yeah, I see a poster for Tom Petty. Let's do it. I park downtown. Now, Gainesville has two cultures happening at once. One is preppy fraternities and sororities. Like the entire Gainesville is preppy fraternities and sororities with
UF.
mommy and daddy's money.
Yeah, UF.
The whole thing. The other culture is the rebellious counterculture. The grunge, the punks, the dreadlocks, the body odor. And they are rebelling against mommy, daddy's money.
I feel
preppy.
like you're just describing every college town in America.
Maybe I am.
I grew up in Colorado. CU Boulder is the exact same way.
So I was like, I was trying to market to the preps and they did not show up. And who did show up was all the adults in Gainesville, because Gainesville is just children getting drunk, but the adults showed up and the grunge grimy showed up and the piercings and the les, and they showed up. There was an opener, which there was 3 openers. They were a Gainesville crew. And I was like, what are you doing in Gainesville? And they had just graduated. One girl was really funny. Her name was Anna. She made me laugh. I was like, wait a minute. As she's performing, being legitimately hilarious, she did something that like shook me. She was talking about a story where she's a barista and she's like, and then this millennial gave me not 1, but 2 business cards. And then this millennial group, and I was like, are millennials getting made fun of by Gen Z?
That's not new at all. I want you to speed up and get to talking.
So she was funny, and then I was like, maybe I'll kill. And then I did the entire brand new hour that I have. 10 out of 10. The audience was giving me so much juice, so much feedback, and I just cannot explain when I just recite jokes and I get some laughter, or when I recite jokes and I get this energy and it's a back and forth that like sends me into the fucking stratosphere of like I was jamming with them.
And that's the difference between live comedy and what has become the new form of comedy, phone comedy. People who experience stand-up on their cell phones, you have to be in the room to actually appreciate and experience the live energy of a performance and that relationship between a performer and the crowd that does not translate through a screen. And
that's a huge difference between me and you, is like your set is probably going to be the same. The same words are going to come out of your mouth. whether the crowd is different. No matter who the crowd is, the words coming out of your lips are the same.
Yes, I have a plan set. You're very in the moment.
Hopefully when I get closer to recording a special, it will be more planned. But for me, it's night and day. There's crazy.
But even if it's a fully planned set or a more off the cuff set, there's absolutely a difference between seeing me live and watching the recording of that set.
Yeah. So I had a great time. And then I drove back to Tampa because I had morning news at 8 a.m.
How was the morning news?
Morning news was interesting because when I got there, I met the news lady and I was like, "Are you from Tampa?" And she's like, "I'm not. I'm from Buffalo." And I was like,
most morning news anchors are not from the town they're speaking to every morning.
And the football players. I actually would like to see a football team from the city they're from. I was a little sassy and I started talking about Gasparilla and I thought her jaw was gonna be dropped because I was like,
that like you knew such a local thing.
That I was going to be so honest. I think like on paper, Gasparilla is private Mardi Gras, but I said the reality. I go, but really it's the podiatrists and obstetricians that are like tonguing people's belly button ring blah, 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 and flashing their boobs. And my mom gave me a tag I did not use. And she was like, you should say they do that in Tampa once a year, but in DC, it's every day. Pretty good tag
not
from
bad,
Miriam.
Sure.
I was pretty shocking and it was not phased. I was like, strip clubs and cigars. And she was like, you're not wrong.
Yeah, I mean, morning news is brutal. So
then I was like, oh, this will sell 1 million tickets. And I talked about everything. And everyone at the station was like, we're coming to your show in St. Pete. And then I literally got in my car and someone was like, where are you headed? And I was like, Miami. They go, ooh, brutal. I wanted to screw around.
You wanted to screw around and the anchor was just giving you nothing to play with.
She was just like, oh, yeah, that's true.
All right.
I was
well,
she was almost too positive.
Did you call out Plant High School?
100 times. To a point where someone said they had a contact at Plant High School that could potentially help me.
But as of today, as of recording, still not on the Wikipedia page.
No, in fact, it feels like I'm more likely to get an Oscar.
You got banned.
Yes, you know what it is? The truth is I need a Wikipedia page.
Sure. Okay. So
I drive all the way to Miami. Pretty much non-fucking stop. I don't want to stop.
And Miami was not part of shows. This was just like in between shows. You had 2 days and you had some old friends you wanted to see in Miami.
So I see my old friend. She's like, what are we getting into? And I said to her, I was like, point blank, I want the most Miami experience ever. I want, close your eyes, imagine a Miami vacation. I've got like 40 hours.
Did she deliver?
11 out of 10.
Okay.
We go to Motec. Shout out to Motec, my favorite restaurant. You've been there.
Delicious food.
Apparently there's 2. One's in a shopping mall and one's in South Beach.
Great.
Very different vibes. The next day, she gets a call from a guy who really likes her. And she's like, he wants to do like a yacht. And I was like, we're doing it.
And now the Miami vacation begins.
And she was like, I don't know who's going to be there. And I was like, oh, us. So yeah. And she was so hesitant. She's like, I think when you live in Miami, you get invited to a boat. And as a woman, you have to think. Mm-hmm. There is no escaping. And that was the theme of like, you commit to a party, you can leave whenever you want. You commit to a boat party, you're not going anywhere.
You're there until they decide that the party is over.
Yes. And I don't really know how it works, but I know I've been on yachts. Let's go.
As you're getting on, are you noticing what's the female to male ratio? Like, it's a man's yacht. Is it overwhelmingly young, hot women in bikinis from Miami? Does it seem like a wholesome group?
We asked how old they were. They were like, they're older. And it turns out everyone was 22 years old.
The person who owned the yacht was 22.
24 years old, owned the yacht. He was the elder.
Good for him.
And then it was 21, 22-year-old girls. And let me tell you, I have never felt more like a 36-year-old grandmother than hanging out with 22-year-olds and 24-year-olds. And I can tell you exactly what makes someone a 22-year-old on a yacht.
What?
There was so much alcohol that they brought. The boat was gorgeous. There was a bartender. There was a crew. They did not bring cups. That is a 24-year-old shit right
does
there.
the yacht not supply cups?
They were like, there was a bartender who was like, I can make you this, I can make you that, but, and he
I have
kind of
nothing
looked
to
at
pour
me,
it
he's
in.
like, nobody brought
Wait,
cups.
so I'm from Colorado. I know nothing of boat yacht culture.
You know about a party?
I do, but I would assume if I'm on a $500,000 vessel, that comes with cups. I would assume that the yacht would be responsible for providing cups. Is that not the case?
I think there was like few glasses.
You have to pay $500,000 for the yacht, but also stop at a Publix and spend $2 on
We
solo
had bags,
cups?
and the thing is, there were bags and bags from Publix. Someone brought all the stuff from Publix. Chasers.
They bought the chasers.
Vodka. Da-da-da.
No
Da-da-da.
cups. So-
Tijan. We had limes.
Tahine,
limes, lemons.
So what do? Drink out, everyone's just pouring out of the
People,
bottle?
we had wine in a bottle, and I was like, oh my God, 22-year-olds chugging wine in...
Embarrassing.
Embarrassing.
Okay.
And then they had tiny shot glasses that were plastic that was this big, and I had my wine, okay, on a gorgeous yacht with a gorgeous crew.
Out of a little kiddish
out
cup?
of a plastic kiddish cup.
Fantastic.
And I was like, boy, oh boy, am I 22. Now, as the day goes on, we are anchored.
Okay.
We had a dinghy boat bring us to the boat that's in the middle of the ocean. And I said, as soon as I got to the boat, I said, I'm so glad we got here before takeoff. And the one girl looked at me, Miami girl, she goes, oh, honey, this is the party. And I was like, we're not going anywhere? She's like, we're not going anywhere.
So it was a stationary party. It's just the setting of the party was a yacht.
That's what she thought.
Ah.
It did travel, though.
Okay, so she was gone.
She was telling me basically like, this is how parties are. You just sit on this boat. And we did for hours until all the 22-year-old girls got so disgustingly messy that I was like, girl, let me help you. Like, are you drinking water? And I just started momming around town.
Sure.
And I was totally fine because I'm 36.
So how does the night end?
The boat moves, and all of a sudden Miami is a water highway. Yachts are coming this way, yachts are coming out, and everyone's got their own party going on. The boat docks at a restaurant, and they start yelling at each other. Like the captain and the restaurant are screaming in Spanish. I don't know what's going on. I look to the Miami girl. I was like, what's happening? Like, what? She's like, they want to park, but it's too big. I'm like, they're trying to parallel park a yacht at a restaurant.
Fantastic. So how does the night end? How late are you on the yacht till what?
It doesn't matter.
I don't know if I can podcast today. I don't.
Then the yacht party ended, and we went home, and it was so fun. And I'm 36.
Great.
So apparently, before you enter a yacht, you need to ask, how old is everybody? And if the answer has to do with someone in their 20s, you do not go.
Okay. That's good to know. So next time you're offered a yacht, make sure people are in their 30s or 40s and brought cups.
50s, 60s, anything older.
But in general, fun yacht party. You asked for a Miami experience. You got a yacht party.
100%.
So your friend delivered. You had a good time. And then the next day was supposed to be your Tampa show.
Unfortunately,
Do you want to talk about this?
yeah, the St. Pete show got canceled, and I had a lot of people that bought tickets. Not tons, but probably some.
And it's because the venue decided not enough tickets were sold to make it worth their time to hire the staff for the evening. And again, this was not a comedy club. This was an independent rock venue that doesn't know how to promote comedy, didn't do their end of getting the word out for a comedy show.
Yes, I spent a lot of money on meta ads trying to get the word out. But the difference between Side Splitters or the Improv and a rock concert is that Side Splitters has been around for 35 years doing only comedy. They have an email list of 100,000 people.
So when your show gets canceled, obviously you're annoyed, embarrassed, or are you relieved? Like, I was just partying in Miami for 2 nights. I don't even want to do a show in St. Pete right now.
I was pushing down the sadness of just like, I had the plan to perform in St. Pete, my hometown, and it just kind of stung. I just kind of felt like I was stood up by a bad dude. And I'm like, I'm better off for it. And then I visited my old club, Side Splitters, and I walk in on Sunday night, just like didn't really thought I was gonna have a show tonight, but whatever. There was an open mic, but I walked in and it was over.
Shout out to BT, the owner.
I see BT, and I used to work there as a high schooler, and we just connected and chummed it up. And
he said he's going to get you a date there.
He wants to get me a date there.
A proper comedy club with a proper comedy audience. So all's well that ends well.
And he's opening a brand new club in St. Pete. So he's expanding and growing, and they know how to do comedy.
So anyone that bought tickets to her St. Pete show that got canceled, she will be back at a better place in a better way. Well, I'm glad you were willing to be honest about your show getting canceled, because I feel like you and I, by any measure of comedy, have been successful. We have made careers out of comedy. We are professional comedians, never had to work a day job, have accomplished a lot of cool things. And when you only see us in bits and pieces through social media, you assume it's an amazing life with very few downs on the ups and downs scale. You had your show canceled. I had shows in DC and Las Vegas. My show in DC did not get canceled, but I also sold very few tickets, and it was a door deal. Again, thank you so much to everyone that did buy tickets. The show was good. I was like, the people that showed up were there to laugh. I got to run my hour, which was the most important part in just prepping for a special. But full disclosure, I lost money going to DC because of the Iran war and oil prices. My plane ticket ended up being so expensive, getting a last minute plane ticket, that after paying for the plane ticket and the hotel versus how much I made on tickets from the door deal, I lost money traveling across country, doing hell flights, leaving my kids to go run this hour. So
you know what? It's
road
brutal.
Is not, but I did catch up with a few old friends who came out, one of which David Wiseman. I found out one of my good friends apparently owns and operates a hummus company called Little Sesame that I haven't tried yet, but I very much am looking forward to it. So shout out to Little Sesame. Maybe we get a little sponsorship.
Yeah.
But so I learned something cool about my friend. I also went to the Lincoln Memorial while I was in DC, and it's so fun being a tourist because, like, living in Vegas, DC and Vegas, not similar cities, but similar in that tourist attraction cities where you go do the thing.
It's an industry town.
Right. So I was like, all right, I spent all this money. I'm probably going to lose money on the show. May as well go see some shit. So I went to the Lincoln Memorial, had to drive 20 minutes to go there, another 20 minutes to park. And I go see the memorial, and it's very cool, but I'm literally there for 2 minutes. Like, I did this whole hour of going there, and then I look up at Lincoln. I'm like, cool, got it. Like, what are you supposed to do when you go
I don't
see this,
know.
like, as a tourist? You
a
know,
moment of silence for the greatness that is Abraham Lincoln.
right? Like, you're in awe of, oh wow, that's a giant marble Abe Lincoln. Got it. And I'm out.
You're like,
and now I'm back to the hotel to watch Impractical Jokers on True TV reruns.
I'm glad I spent 2 hours traveling to the Lincoln Memorial for no reason. Now I'm gonna shoot myself in the head.
Right, but then I did the show in DC, flew back the very next morning, and ran my hour at Wise Guys in Las Vegas, and that was a great show.
Wise Guys is a great comedy club. They sat people nice and tight and perfect.
Local showed up. We kind of packed it out for a Tuesday night. You had a great set to open up. And what else was funny is, even though DC wasn't a bad show, it was a disappointment in terms of all that went into it versus what I got out of it. But you said something which is very true, which is you need to have the bad show before the big thing. Like
100% of the time.
Comedians know if you're going to do a late night set, if you're going to do a special, you need to bomb and feel awful about that set within a week to 2 weeks before you record it. If you have nothing but great sets before the recording, it's going to be a bad show when it ultimately matters. So you need to get the bad one out of the way. And so you assured me that DC was getting the bad one out of the way
100%.
before the special.
And I've seen the best, like, most electric night I've ever seen of comedy was your half-hour special. The night before, you did the same set in New Orleans in front of, there was like a band playing downstairs. You could barely hear them
in front
performing.
of 14 people, and you fell asleep.
I fell
in the
asleep.
back
I
of
was
the room.
so bored. It was it was brutal.
Yes.
The whole time I was like, this is fucking brutal.
And then
the
I ended
next
up
day
having the
was
best set of my life. So that's how it happens.
I will explain the psychology of it. The reason stand-ups have to bomb before a taping is because when you do so well and you're feeling yourself so hard and you walk on that stage like you are Prince.
Right. You got to come into the special taping hungry to reprove yourself. You have to remind yourself and the audience, I'm that bad motherfucker I think I am.
That is Michael Jordan's entire career is, you cut me from my basketball team, I'll show you.
Yes.
That is what you need. That's the attitude.
Now, let me say this, separate from anything we were just talking about. The one thing I did do, I had a new pair of shoes that I brought to DC. DC is a walking town, so I was walking miles every day to just go get food from the hotel. came back. I don't know if it was the 5-hour flight there and back all within a 24-hour span or walking miles in new shoes at the age of 42. I was unable to move. I got back to Vegas and my back was out for the next 4 days, to the point where one of the things I have to do today that I don't really have time for, but you are forcing me to do, is I'm going to get acupuncture to try to fix my back before my special taping in 2 days in Denver. Now, let me ask you this. You booked this acupuncture. I appreciate you booking it. I was unaware of the fact that it was going to be an hour and a half, apparently an hour to do the acupuncture, which feels excessive. 30-minute consultation beforehand. What the fuck takes 30 minutes about a pre-acupuncture consultation? What in the world could they possibly ask of me that's going to take 30 minutes that's going to change the fact that I'm just going to lie down, they're going to stick some needles in my back?
Well, I don't exactly know, but we also do not understand the needles in your back is not just think, 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 think. It's about things that we don't fucking know. It's Chinese medicine. It's not standard teeth cleaning. This is Chinese figuring out the bloodstream, the flow, literally don't know what I'm talking about. But what I do know is that it's a precise and very intentional prick. And these needles heal what needs to be healed. Now, let me tell you something. Most people are not you. Most people are like chit-chatty magoos that are taking their time. It takes them 15 minutes to park before they even walk into Trader Joe's.
I hate the small talk.
The world is so inefficient and you are so efficient that it is literally black and white. So I think that you could potentially go in there and be like, I'm so excited to be here. However, I just want to say.
So are you telling me that you think part of the standard 30-minute pre-consultation on most doctor appointments is built in for the average person's chit-chat and small talk?
To be comfortable, to be like, well, what are you worried about? Are you sleeping?
Yeah, I hate all that so much.
And that's a good thing to walk in.
I'm here to get my back fixed. Ask me what I'm allergic to. Shellfish. Boom. Are you putting shellfish on the needles? Great. Fantastic. If not, I'll lay down. And by the way, can we do this in less than an hour?
I think you should just be very upfront and clear and say, I have a performance tomorrow. I have appointments all day. I have kids to pick up.
Give me the bare minimum of needles in my back.
I'm so pumped to get this done because you could even say like, I've put it off for months because I didn't have time. I've made this appointment, but I have 12 more today. Let's get this done, the express. And they'll say, so why don't you tell me how many hours a night are you sleeping? And you'll be like, spit it out. 5 hours. It doesn't matter. Put the needles in my back.
I'm sleeping a lot more because I'm more tired because I'm on this shitty new coffee regimen. I'm not getting my K-cup microplastic that used to keep me energized.
But the truth is that things sometimes take time and you might be laying down for an hour and they say, and hear me out, they say that the busiest people who do not have time for anything are the people who need to meditate the most.
Sure.
You hate that.
I don't hate it. I don't doubt it. I just don't have an hour and a half to consult and then lie down for acupuncture today. Part of which is because I am preparing to shoot a special. I'm leaving tomorrow morning to go to Denver to tape my special. I'm very excited about that, but I already can't tell you how relieved I will be when the entire process is done.
Yes.
Anytime you have a project that's been like 2-3 months in the works, when you finally get done, I am very excited about the special. I think it's going to be a magical night. I think it's going to go great. I cannot wait to be done with it and then begin the daunting task of hitting the stage after that with absolutely no material. It's fun to build the new hour up, but more importantly, it'll be fun to mentally uncouple from all the things I've had to do to prepare for this special.
Would you say it's like planning a wedding, having the wedding, and then being like, I don't have to send an invitation.
Yeah, it's like
calling someone, no more coordinating.
And also similar to like having a wedding, I can't wait to be able to eat carbs again. I've been I've been really, I don't think I've had a bagel in 2 months because I'm trying to look for the special.
You have a good time. So really, you're going to be on stage for like 55 minutes.
Yep.
This whole like build up for 55 minutes.
Yep.
When you're on stage, do you feel like you are feeling joy in the moment, or is it just being present, or do you think it's like
judging
your own jokes?
I think I typically am incredibly locked in the moment when I perform. Like, it's happened before. We've talked about this. I've had medical ailments that are killing me all day long until the moment I get on stage. And then for the 8, 10, 15 minutes, however long it is that I'm on stage, I don't feel a thing. And then as soon as I get off, the medical ailment starts bothering me again. I'm very in the moment and present while I'm on stage. I know when I'm having a great show. I know when I'm having a bad show. So when I'm having a bad show bombing, I can always feel myself being like, well, this is a fucking bummer and I'm not having fun up here, but I still stay locked in. When I'm having a great show and I'm killing, I'm not in my head like, oh my God, this is so much fun. I'm loving this. They're loving this. I'm just riding that wave of energy that you talked about, the live audience. I'm just telling the jokes with the confidence of knowing that, oh man, if they like this joke, wait till they hear this next one. And by the way, I might riff with a little bit of comfort because you're so in tune to the crowd. So I have a lot of fun in the moment, but I'm still not like leaving my body to be like, this is amazing, I'm loving this. I just feel like it's like an athlete. When your jumper's feeling good, you know your jumper's feeling good, so you shoot the ball with confidence, and all of a sudden you're shooting from farther back and just trust that it's going to go in. You know what that feels like.
Would you riff at a special taping?
I would riff at a special taping at a minimum. I would keep it to a minimum because I don't want to break up the flow of, like, if the riff is fun for the room in the moment but won't be evergreen, I don't want to fuck with the editing. But like, if there is a live moment, I'm not going to avoid it if I'm feeling good.
Would you ever tell a joke for the very first time on stage during a special?
Maybe after, like, if I feel like I got everything we needed. But, and I know you did that, but you did that partly to fill time.
That was like the craziest shit I've ever done. You
had the 45, yeah.
Well, I did know I had the 45 and I had a plan and I got on the plane.
But you closed, like, so your special that you did that on, you closed with it, right? Like, you did your whole special and then at the very end told that?
I think I wanted to do the secret joke as the closer, so I knew that the secret was going to happen. But in between the last joke and the closer, I was like, on the plane ride here, I pumped and drank my own breast milk and everyone thought I was crazy, but I did it in a fun way.
But that's such a crazy thing to have done. Like, you were flying during COVID, 6 months or 6 weeks postpartum to go shoot a special, and because it was very, very much COVID, people weren't allowed to eat on the plane, but you were a new mother who was hungry, so you had to pump and then drink your own breast milk to nourish yourself
while wearing a mask.
That's such a crazy circumstance that you almost had to talk about it just to make sure you got the joke out there, and the only opportunity you had to talk about it happened to be the night you were taping your special. I don't think I will have a life circumstance that quickly.
Well, Brian Volkweis directed that special, and I remember going up to him and I was like, this is crazy, but like, this thing happened to me on the plane. And then I told him and I was like, is that funny? Like, he goes, we can edit it. Right. No problem. You do it. Well, and I was thank you to him for giving me that confidence.
Here's the thing about my special that is already kind of weighing on me. I'm a huge Nuggets fan. I think I'm a much bigger Nuggets fan than most of the city of Denver. But I booked the special taping for April 23rd in January. So you have no idea. And as it was getting closer, I was like, oh shit, that's going to be the playoffs. And I just had a feeling before the regular season even ended. I was like, I guarantee you my special taping in Denver is the same night and time as a Denver Nuggets playoff game. Sure enough, the schedule gets released. Game 3, 7:30 p.m. Denver time, April 23rd. My special, 7:30 p.m. Denver time, April 23rd. So game 3 will be happening literally as I am on stage shooting my special. I trust the people of Denver to show up and be present, put their phones away, and enjoy the special. But I'm saying all this to say that as a Nuggets fan myself, and knowing that my crowd is sacrificing watching the Nuggets game to come to the special, I also don't want to veer from my planned special because I don't want to do pickups. I don't want to have to take chances that then after we shoot the special, have the director come out and be like, all right, just hold still because we're going to do one more shot of, he's going to run this joke one more time.
Because you want to get to the game?
Because I want to watch the game and I want my crowd to be able to watch the game. So I literally just want to run my special start to finish as I've planned it so that we don't have to do pickups for editing, because I and every person in that theater is probably going to want to instantly turn on our phone and check the score of the Nuggets game.
Now, 2 things. One is, did you hear what your sister said? Your sister, Shayna, who's a bigger Nuggets fan than Nikola Jokic himself. I think she likes the Nuggets more than Jokic.
I think we both do.
She said, I'm so glad that you're doing your special at the game because I'd be so stressed out watching the game.
She's saying that, and in the moment, she's not lying to herself, but she is lying. She's wrong. We all want to be watching the game.
This is okay. The second is because I'm a messy bitch and all over the place with my shit. I would incorporate the game into the night and be a messy bitch.
I already thought about that, and I was like, maybe there's a good opening joke. Maybe I can come out and be like, hey, thank you all for coming, and by the way, I also want to be watching the Nuggets game, something like that. But then again, that just becomes an unnecessary edit for the director. Like, if you're trying to make a special that lives in perpetuity and possibly sell to a streamer, you can't open with a Nuggets game joke that happened 4 or 5 months prior to the special being released. So all that's going to happen is I open with that joke, then we need to cut it, and then all of a sudden the new opener might not match the edit of where I was on stage. So it's
it's not a show.
The risk reward of riffing an opening versus what the edit is going to have to look like for a clean open to the special. I'm better off just walking out on stage to applause and starting my special.
You're talking about it like you're wagering money on something where you're like, there's a risk. I will take the over on this joke and that's
life how I see life. I mean, I'm constantly measuring risk reward of everything that I do.
It's funny because I think you're incredibly risky when it comes to the gambling and the finance and investing, and I'm not. But I'm incredibly risky when it comes to like
stand up
and let's make a Nuggets joke and see how this goes.
Yeah, and again, for me, it's not about the risk reward of the opener so much as like, is the juice worth the squeeze and the work it's going to take? Like, even I'm not worried about like, I might tell this joke and it's not going to hit, and then my special isn't off to a hot start. I can recover from that. I'm not worried about the risk of the joke. I'm worried about like the effort required to take that joke out and still make the special look good from the start. Versus, I think it'll be fine if I just don't address it. And as a matter of fact, part of me is like, if I open the night addressing, I'd also like to be watching the Nuggets game, there might be some people in the crowd like, oh, fuck, I didn't realize game 3. And now I've got more people thinking about the Nuggets game than already were. So
the truth is, you're here to do something, and you have to, yes, it's a live thing, but then you zoom out, and this is a beautiful product that's going to live past your death. You will have this, after you die, you will have this special.
Lord willing. All right. I think we need to keep on moving because I do have an acupuncture appointment to get to.
Go.
So this week in Vegas, the reigning WNBA champions, the Las Vegas Aces, open training camp to start the new WNBA season. And Asia Wilson, the league MVP, the star of the game, has signed a 3-year, $5 million Supermax, largest contract in NBA or largest contract in WNBA history. 3 years, $5 million, and the Aces season has begun. Do you actually care?
She just shattered the glass ceiling. Like, I care about the story. I'm a
WNBA fan, and when I started becoming a WNBA fan, I thought, finally, I can bridge the gap between Esther and I in sports. I found a women's sport that I truly care about. I think she can get on board with, and then you...
Technically, it's like the concept of my husband watching women's sports is like, yeah, feminism. But in reality, he's on the couch watching more sports.
I was caught off guard but amused by your natural reaction being, no, I'm not happy. This is just more sports that I have to watch you watch.
Football season, basketball season, and WNBA season. Just do not become a hockey fan.
Correct, because I'm not a baseball fan, and baseball is typically the only thing going on during summer. So you used to have summers off for my sports fan, and now I'm locked in on the WNBA from June to August.
I am thrilled that you love the WNBA. I'm thrilled that the WNBA is a thing because, I mean, everything about it is fantastic. It's weird that we're just waking up to the greatness of women's basketball. And I think that they're now becoming stars and icons. And we're in the frontier. Like, imagine the very beginning of NBA, like,
yeah, I mean, the WNBA has been around for, I think, 30 years, 25 years, something like that. But there are more household names, faces of the game, and stars more than ever. The WNBA legitimately has a few stars that are bringing fans in.
Yes. And
Asia Wilson being one of them, and she's the face of our franchise in the city.
Many things I love about Asia Wilson. It's the nails, it's the hair, it's the femininity, but she's a baller.
And now, 6'4".
She's 6'4". She's a baller. She's so feminine, and she just is allowing herself, like a female comedian, we're in a masculine job, playing basketball, telling jokes, yet standing in our feminine power and being like, and I look like a woman and I am woman, hear me roar. You can't tell me to look like a man. I'm not doing the same thing as him. I'm doing my own thing. Here we go.
So say all that to say, will you watch the WNBA with me this year?
I would love to, and I would love to get an Aces jersey, and I would love to cheer them on.
So
I want the jersey.
You want to go to the game.
But I'm a cheerleader. I'm like, what about, how can I look cute as a fan?
How can I spend more money without really caring?
Yeah. No, I want to cheer them on and I want to see it. I also am just always worried that the nails are like scratching people.
I actually do wonder. I don't
get
know.
It. I don't get it.
I don't know if there are rules on whether or not you're allowed to have certain length nails in the WNBA, because that does stand to reason. It could be a little bit of a health hazard. Like, athletes are not allowed to wear rings and necklaces when they play basketball because it presents a danger. I would imagine long nails would be the same. Although there are some men that literally don't cut their nails because they scratch on the court. Like if you watch Jokic's arms at the end of games, he is all cut up, and a lot of times defenders grow their nails out a bit to be more ferocious on the court. Yeah.
It reminds me of like the orca whales in like SeaWorld. They'd like get into fights because they're from different orca cultures and they just shove them into SeaWorld, not caring. And they're from different pods and they speak different languages and they slice each other up.
The WNBA nails, very similar to orca warfare.
And when I did cheerleading, we all had acrylics and we would like slice up the flyers and it was awful. And I was like, well, bitch, twist a little better in your box jump.
Beauty is pain.
That brings me to a joke.
Well, okay, so I was going to say, we also need to do Joke Yard, but I need 2 minutes to look through my phone and see, because I haven't
I'll
thought
tell
about
my joke while you look.
Okay, great. Oh, I love that. I get to not pay attention while you tell your joke? Amazing.
It'll be exactly like every comedy show I've ever done. So I've decided to add a little bit into my act because I'm trying to I'm doing these 20-minute sets, 15-minute sets, whatever. And then when I went to Gainesville, I was like, let's put it all together. And I just pulled out every bit that I had that I liked. And one of them was like, my husband's now watching the WNBA. It's just more sports. The difference between the WNBA and the NBA is that the WNBA eats pussy.
Great joke.
Thank you.
I was only halfway paying attention, but it made me tune back in because I remember you tweeted that. And what was funny in true Ester fashion, you had a spelling mistake or like a grammatical error in how you tweeted it, which was like bothering you because like, oh, this joke would be doing so much better if I didn't mess up this one letter that kind of changed the way people are reading it. But I've always liked that joke. I think that's a great joke. I would love to see you bring it into your regular act.
But I have a joke yard that I want. I don't know if it's good or not. I think it's funny and I don't know. I think it's a little bit of like I'm getting a little older and I went and got a mammary gland and everyone was like warning me that it was painful. It wasn't painful. The woman that was doing my check for my boobs, and by the way, the doctor that does vaginas is the same doctor that does boobs. And I have to say, I think that's ridiculous and bizarre. I get ear, nose, and throat, but I do not understand how boob and vagina are the same doctor.
I have to stop you there. Joe List already has this bit.
Oh my God, thank you so much.
Joe List does.
I'm so glad.
Joe List does a great bit about like ear, nose, and throat being a weird lumped in specialty, and what about other doctors who are blah 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 and blah blah blah.
That's fine. I can't do it at all, but he doesn't specifically have vagina and boob.
No, Joe List does not lump together vagina and boob, but he does have a very funny bit about like the random body parts that get coupled in for a doctor's specialty.
Well, that's not the point. It's not a joke. Literally, if you want to get your boobs checked, you go to the vagina doctor. That's not funny. That's ridiculous to me. That's not a funny joke. That's just truth. So I go to the doctor, they check for my boobs, and felt like I was in such good hands because I know that 80,000 people applied for this job.
I feel like
I've told that to you, and this is the joke yard.
You told it on Joke Yard. We may have cut it out.
No.
You definitely done the like mammogram. 80,000 people applied for this job.
I don't believe so.
100%.
That is so cringe. Great.
Okay. My Joke Yard is a joke I don't feel good about for so many reasons. One, it's a little bit gross. It's funny. It is funny.
I like gross.
It's a little bit gross. A personal story of mine that you were party to. And also, I always feel weird when I get to the punchline, which was when we first started dating, the first big family trip we took, you joined my family in coming to Morocco.
Yes.
And in Morocco, as with a lot of countries, if you drink the water, you will get insanely sick. And they're
not just water, a drop of ice.
Anything. Well, that's what it was that ultimately got me. We were so good about the water for like 10 days. And on the 11th day, I got an iced tea, not thinking. And the ice cube made me sicker than I have ever been in my entire life. And I'm not going to get into all the sickness, but say all that to say we shared a bed. I farted, or at least thought it was a fart, and lightly shit the bed that night. Like
after literally like passing out next to the toilet from shitting.
Yeah. No. I mean, I had such bad vomit and diarrhea that I was like passing out on the toilet, shitting while vomiting, had to crawl to the shower. I was like deathly sick, and you were wonderful in trying to nurse me to health. But again, that night, whatever, we woke up the next morning. It wasn't shit all over the bed, but there was a little shit on the bed. And the cleaning lady had to deal with it. And we felt so bad. And the cleaning lady, rightfully so, was giving us the worst look. Like, as we were walking to the room, we were getting death stares from this poor Moroccan woman who had to clean up the soiled bedsheet of some rich, spoiled American. I get that. And then I think we went to the front desk to try to get change, and the only change they had was the equivalent of like $5 American, which was not enough at all to give this woman. But I went back and handed this woman $5 American, and her entire sentiment changed, and she like gave us the biggest smile and seemed so grateful. Don't you remember? And like I still felt awful, but she was now thrilled about like this tip that she got, the $5 American.
I hope more people shit the bed.
And the joke I had in my phone was basically like, you can always tell how bad a country is based on how little you have to pay someone to clean up the shit of an American tourist.
The actual literal shit.
Yes. And so like, I hate this joke because like ultimately the punchline is predicated on being an entitled, spoiled American who's also like talking down about people who have to clean up your shit. Like, oh, you can tell how bad their lives are based on how little I can pay them to clean up my actual shit. But also, I think I had it in my note as like a funny aside to an otherwise interesting encounter I had in Morocco.
Can we break it down state by state, country by country? What is the going rate for I just shit the bed and I'm about to hand you a dollar bill? In New York, if you give someone $2 after you shit the bed, they will spit in your face.
Correct.
Fuck no.
That is the only way to do it. I think that is the way we discussed it being done. Like, you have to give multiple examples and talk about the going rate of city by city or country by country. But I still don't know that there's any way I get out of telling this joke without looking like an asshole. Because
you're never looking like an asshole.
Ultimately,
you're
it's
sick.
about me being like, here's how much you can pay poor people to clean your shit.
Well,
which is not a fun topic to take on, which is why I think I've never told this story on stage.
How honest is it to be in touch with, there's so many comedians, I watch them be like, so I'm picking up my kids. And I'm like, are you a billionaire comedian picking up your kids? Sometimes I feel like people are so out of touch with money that to just be like, look, I got really sick and I shit everywhere. And I'm like panicked. What do you do in the moment? Hand her a 20. I don't have a 20. Can I hand her change?
Right. And then, yeah, I do think you're right that the only way to go about it is create a going rate sliding scale based on the region or the geography of what's $150 in New York is $5 in Morocco, and so on and so forth.
Which it does also, part of that story is that we were in a bus with a tour guide.
Well, that's the fun. I mean, that's the thing. If I was going to tell that joke, it would be part of a longer Morocco chunk. But yes,
I knew you were the one. Because the whole family was there, 10 people maybe, and I farted. People were asleep and woke up from slumber.
Set the scene. The entire family was asleep, and there were 10 of us, 11 of us on this trip,
and a tour guide.
So we were in like a huge van and a tour guide. Even the tour guide was asleep. Everyone was asleep in the backseat except for the driver.
One by one,
farted.
People woke up.
The fart was so bad that literally heads raised one at a time.
It was like violent fumes had filled the bus.
All of us were sick at this point. An entire family of American Jews that just got sick in Morocco. and were suffering violent stomach illness. So you farted, woke people up with the potency of the
and
fart,
everyone screamed, ew, what's that smell? And they were screaming, what is that vile smell? Did we get bombed by a skunk? And Noah said, it was me. I farted.
knowing that it was my dear wife to be. And that is true love.
To this day. And then we got a bathroom in our hotel room with no door. This is actually, let me just tell you, if we together wanted to write this bit or just you take your version, it could be when Americans go to foreign countries, shit pops off in ways that it doesn't when you stay in America.
Sure. There's definitely, again, I think the way you told me to break it down, the going rate of clean up my shit per state or country is the way to do it. And I think it would still have to be part of a much larger, longer Morocco story to bring people into the world. So when I start talking about the stomach sickness, it's a little less gross, a little bit more entertaining as like the cherry on top. So thank you for that. I will continue to claim your farts any day because I love you very much. But now I have to go
You would still do it?
Probably not. I have to go to acupuncture. Please wish me luck on this special taping. By the time this episode comes out, I will have already taped it. But either way, feeling good, feeling great. Thank you. Gotta go. Bye.
L'chat to Noah. So I was thinking that, like, okay, so if we're on the oh, he left.